how it ended. So what a kind of a fake out with the jobs data being good and the market reacting poorly to it, but a lot of stuff bounced right away. Didn't even matter. And then the reaction to these earnings reports has been really interesting with Net and Carvana stand out. Just explosive moves that are really like, I mean, to me, they kind of are. The reports weren't that good to do that, but it's just the environment we're in is just allowing that to happen because they're down so much.
Yeah, I didn't touch on it a lot, but the last earnings and the previous one for sure, like when you have two or three bad earnings, then your expectations go down, and then they're easier to beat or maintain. Um, the in the time that you do go through the bad earnings, your and market conditions right now too, your stock price goes down as well. So I mean, you just become so undervalued with minimal standards to meet. Um, and if a company does it all reasonable or even kind of like in this environment comes back to where they were pre-lockdown, um, they're extremely undervalued. And I think we're seeing a lot of that right now, especially in the growth stocks. Like all the growth stocks are pretty much on great runs or in a decent percentage off their bottom.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Um, I was surprised on things like the continuation on things like a Roblox. Like it's $50 now. I mean, it came off of 40 in 10 days.
Yeah, no, that's just crazy how that one kept going, and so it's kind of one of those where you kind of catch a little of the move and you just sort of assume it'll pull back. You just kind of get in that mentality, but no, it just kept pushing, and yeah, I think it's really interesting how D Dog just dipped and came right back on
Yes,
earnings.
that's another one.
So I mean, just the strength you saw there is nice. I think, and I always like I like that sector a lot anyway. But what D Dog did actually to me is going to make it a little easier to trade than what Net did. I probably wouldn't touch Net for a bit just to kind of see what it does after such a move like that. It
Yeah, that
just
was huge. That was ridiculous.
yeah, it could just pull. It could pull back a bit. Um, but I think overall, like when you read the report, the company's in really good shape, and what we said about cybersecurity months ago, I think is right on.
Yeah, and not to get off the topic, but that's how you got to kind of play a net, right? Is you find the mid candle pullback or the dip low. 65 is looking like the spot for me, and that's where you draw your line, set your alert, and if that's offered here under market conditions, that's when you take a look, right? Or you let it establish a top and pull back because from where even the 74 where we're at now to 55 is a huge range to trade in. Um, and
Yeah,
and
yeah, for
that's
sure.
what I look for is like where's this thing gonna figure itself out? It's not gonna go to 70, 75, 65 and say this is my value and stay there. That never happens. It will fluctuate through this zone it's in now, and you definitely don't buy at the top of that. You let it pull back. I mean that's how I play. Um, is you let it pull back and
Yeah,
ride it through the
absolutely.
zone.
And with options, you always have less room for error anyway. So that's definitely the case.
Um, do
Some big earnings this week with
yes.
Upstart and a couple of those.
Um,
Blink, I think.
We got PLTR on Monday, Upstart on Monday, Roblox Coin, U on Tuesday, um, Rivian on Thursday. That's gonna be ass. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah they're probably in worse shape than Lucid for actually making stuff.
but that's the
And
thing is like you got to kind of
but
understand their estimate. You have to understand is their estimate 100,000 cars? Like is that the financial aspect of their estimate, or is their estimate
right,
build
yeah,
one
that's why
car,
like
please?
Fisker can make money off keeps and not crash.
Yes. Yeah, so you have
Basically.
to understand that part of it. Like, what are the expectations of this right now? That's why I don't play earnings, because that's really what you need to know, to accurately, or what you do is follow the money in and out of the earnings play. But that's the only way to predict the true direction, is kind of to know what the expectation is, because that's what they're doing, is seeing if they meet that expectation. Um,
Yeah, Palantir was one that we had discussed that potential for a move, and then should have stayed on it because it's been really good.
I think there's stocks like Palantir and Ford that are even too boring for us, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Let's call it. We have the same problems as any other trader, right? Like, there's some stuff it moves just too slow. It's just it's just too, like, who wants to buy Ford? But we seen both of those moves. 100% were on,
Yeah.
like, the right time. Yeah, no, I got other ones too this week on that. You had Disney, XL, Matterport, um, DNMR. All those guys are on my ER list. BlackRock. There's some names. There's still
Oh,
it's
nice.
still a big week this week on that side. Um, I
All right.
just
Sounds
I
most situated.
yeah, I hope people understand, like last ER session we were like literally playing those, like playing the dip and then the buyback up. Like, we were very active, and this time we're kind of staying away from them because they are more of a crapshoot. Um, I think now we kind of have a better feel what's going on. If stuff is beat down, it's probably worth the gamble, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it's you still get ones like Twillo, which just collapsed on their earnings, and so it's hasn't all been good. So there is still it's kind of 50-50. And I mean, like Carvana, I never would have really actually played through their earnings just because who the hell knows, but it had that insane run Friday.
Yeah, but we,
Whew.
we were playing this at 25. So, I mean, I'll say sub 25, but by 25, we were like, hey, buy this.
Yeah,
That's 100%. I mean, so if you had the good entry, um, you could have hung out in this. If not, you still hit big. I mean, that's a double. I think Vegan did 35%. That's a double to me. That's not a base hit. That's a double.
yeah.
That's a double. But this is kind of where we figured out that, hey, these can run off the bottom. Like this, I mean, there's plenty more out there still. Um, yeah, got a few on my list.
All right. All right. So yeah, I can. I'm situated now, so I can get into these. All right. So the first up for me is MVIS,
Nice.
and we could have gotten in on this one a little earlier, and you've mentioned it a few times. Really, the activity I'm seeing to 7 and leaps to 8 have me thinking that this will continue. Ideally, if you can get an entry as close to 5 as possible, I think that's probably the best, but might not dip that far. Maybe like 530 or something
Yeah,
might be.
521 is volume profile on
Oh,
the
nice.
shorter time frame, so that would definitely be my target. I'm with you, because this is now to me overextended. We're at the same level that it ran off of the last time. I believe last time you called it, you were early
Yeah.
on this on the flow side, um, and we're at that level. I have 581, 575 right in that range. So I like the ads underneath that for sure, but that's where you need to see strength through the chart. Like, we need to get up there and start testing 6. If not, you just scale out and get out of the trade and take that
Yeah,
50
that's
cents.
kind of what I'm thinking. We're gonna test it and then bust through, but we might. I mean, so but the test is there's higher conviction on that for me, that there's enough flow beyond 6 at 7 and 8 that they're going to try to push it through there. And so you can just play that attempt. And then
Yes.
if it does go through and you have some of your position left, you'll just, you can catch more of the move on it.
Nice, nice, nice. What's the date?
It's 819
8/19.
for 7C.
I made a note last week for that I forgot what you called it, but like the week where all the options come into play for the next month. That was last
Oh
week.
yeah, yeah,
That was last week,
yeah.
and that there's something to that right there. There's
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's just the prices have come down enough to where you can get close to the money and it's playable, and you still have some time on them, so it's just kind of a nice balance in
yeah,
that way.
yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like previous winner. You can't go wrong. I won't rattle the tree that I liked the chart a while ago. Obviously.
Yeah, and the leaps are kind of wild on it. I mean, I have there's 40C leaps for next year.
Well,
Now, that doesn't mean that they think it's going to go to $40, but those contracts are $10, and any kind of explosive move, those are going to go to $20
well,
very quickly. So that's kind of how they. So if you wanted to do what whales do and lower your risk and play it on the cheap, you actually could do those leaps way out of the money, as long as there's decent volume and open interest on it. Then you'll be able to sell it. You can't just buy way out of the money leaps. If there's no one in it, it's harder to get rid of them. So,
yes.
but this is one example where that 40C for 2023 is a contract that you might look at, and you can pretty much day trade it. If MVIS has a day where it goes like 8-10%, you'll probably go up 50% on those leaps. It's just one of those quirks of how they move. So that's definitely one to think about. And I'll put that in my notes. I'm going to start covering leaps a little more, because I think, especially for people who can't babysit a position all day,
Yes.
those are worth considering because they're inexpensive, and if the stock has a bad day, you're not just going to get wrecked on it. So
Yeah, I forgot what Goose was playing, and it made sense to play him. The strike price didn't make sense.
yeah. Goose I think was in Rev
Yeah.
at like 25 or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
So long-term thesis on this, since I remember everything, they did run to 20 early 2000 when the market was stupid, but it was off that Apple Car LiDAR news. They're a LiDAR play, which that still's never been announced, but we did notice LiDAR probably a little, maybe 2 or 3 months ago in the year, as the sector in general just looked like it had a lot of unusual option activity across all of them.
Yes.
This is one of the few that has actually made a move to the north. This is probably 60% off. This is almost 100% off the $3 level. So,
Yeah. Like, well, and one example that didn't pan out was laser,
yes,
where whales have just been hammering that for calls for a long time, but it's just kept falling. And all they're doing is they're trying to anticipate one of these LiDAR companies getting some big deal, and it hasn't materialized yet. Laser, just as an example, if they were to get some big contract or something like that, could go up 50 to 60% in 1 week on that. I mean, it's down that low, but there's no way to really time it.
yes, I 100% agree with all
Yeah.
that.
And they're not the kind of companies that have really good earnings either. But yeah, like I just bring that up. Laser has earnings this week, so probably be bad, but we might keep an eye on it. All right, so next up for me is Upwork.
UPWK, right?
Yep. So fell on earnings and has recovered somewhat. I like the $20 level on this for a run to 24 is what I'm seeing. So that in itself is a decent gain, kind of a modest goal, I guess. But adds as close to 20 as you can get. Likely move to 24. Don't really see this collapsing below 18 is kind of the floor on it. So if the market does open down this week, which who knows, this could definitely dip. And if you can get it between 18 and 20, that'd be great because I don't think it'll last long down there.
The big volume shelf is 1475. 16's the catch before that, 16 and a half. If there was anything, but there's the volume profile in the long-term time frames 1475. Short term, it's more closer to that 20. Um, TA side, this is kind of one that looks like you just play it. You play the trend. This thing ain't gonna move. Ridiculous. It's not gonna move $6 in a day without news. It's gonna move
Right.
50 cents or $1 throughout the day, but it's gonna have consecutive days in that range. 24 totally stands out as well, so I like that. Yeah, no, I like it. It's got that ER reversal to it, which I think they're boring, but they're stupid profitable because it's going to check back.
Yep. All right. So next up, JMIA. Now I brought this one up. I guess mid last week or towards the end of last week, and I'm just seeing continuation to $8. So that's kind of why I'm into it. It's pretty bullish across all time frames to 8. Could definitely dip or stagnate here. Fall back to 6 or something. But it's got a lot of momentum going into earnings. So earnings are August 10th pre-market. So this is kind of an ER run up for me.
Yeah, I liked where this was at chart wise. I definitely searched the group on that. Doesn't stay below 6 for long. 650's been the top level. 8's volume profile on the 3-year. I think this falls in the group of the less known names of pretty decent companies. It's just undervalued because no one knows what the hell it is.
Right.
That's what I feel about it. 650 is the level. I mean that would need to flip support resistance. We're kind of above that now, so it all makes sense. Probably if you're gonna play earnings, I know it's not sexy, but this is probably the one I'd play to the upside. Just follow that eight play, right?
You could play a contract for $20, and if it has good earnings, that'll be 60. So yeah, I mean if you're going to do a lotto, that's kind of the level I would recommend.
I mean, even your last high, 830, and the one before that was 1250. So I mean, there's some range here. You could get
and I want to real quick
move in it.
Real quick, I want to share in the group kind of one of the charts I look at here. All right, so what I'm sharing right now is just a breakdown of the option buys on Friday.
You're gonna put it in main?
Yeah, the main chat there. So you can see just overwhelmingly bullish all day, and you can see the underlying price with that, how the option volume early in the day kind of drove that spike. But then it was bullish throughout the day, and then to end the day Friday, you had more buyers coming in. And so that is often an indication that early in the week we'll get a higher push on this back, above 7, and then we'll see where we go from there.
What's the numbers on the left? Is that volume?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Actually got that up on screen for the stream. I'm proud of myself. Sweet, sweet.
All right. So then,
Two for three previous winners. I'm liking it.
so next up for me is Nova, Nova.
Okay, okay.
All right. So Nova, this is a they do like solar. They do some vehicle
Mm-hmm.
charging, residential energy service provider. Now, they obviously have benefited a lot from this this move on solar, and this is a stock running pretty hot at the time at the moment. So it might not seem like this would be the best time to add it to the hot list. That being said, I see this going to $35, so I wanted to get it on there. The contracts on it, really overwhelmingly bullish across all time frames, and 35 that I have on it is for 916.
916.
And I think you just got to kind of
What?
know what you're trading with this. I mean that it has run really hard, and so you may try to wait for a pullback to like 25 or so. That'd probably be where it would bounce if it does pull back. But I think the uptrend will continue from there.
This has the 250 strikes, so that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense to me because I have like 33.85 on the high end.
Nice.
It gets real thick right there. That's like the highest I could go. 33.50 would probably be more reasonable. But if you get strength through this area, you could get to 40. But if not, it's just going to reject. And then 25 is your bottom end on my side right now. So that's a great channel, and you're closer to 25 than you are 34. You have $2 that way, $7 the other way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think to me, this is kind of one of those cases where that explosive move that it had off earnings, sort of for the whales, kind of set up a new paradigm where they're like, okay, we're going to set the floor at 25 and we're going to run this up. Well, that's kind of what I see them doing. And so, we're maybe a day or two late on this. But I think that the floor is going to hold, and then we'll run from there. So I think don't be in a hurry to add it. If we get 25, I think you can start looking for it.
If they did good on earnings, which I didn't read them, I'm just going with you there. They also get the Biden money, or the perception that they might be getting the Biden money coming as one of the solar plays. So that's like the double good catalyst in the same window.
Yeah, right. And the fact that they're solar and have they install vehicle chargers in houses. Nice. So there's kind of they catch two sides of this whole Biden economic plan deal.
All good for them.
All right. So next up for me, let's see here. SVSW.
SVSW. Okay.
Well, yeah. So this is they are a precious metals mining service dealing with platinum, gold, etc. So we have obviously we have some gold plays on there already. This one in particular has I think the most upside at the moment to $12, and I still I think the gold plays in general, they're just going to require a little bit of patience. That was the same deal last time. But once they really start going, they just burn it up and don't, they don't stop. So the 1250 strike for uh, October looks really good, and then some leaps as well at 1250 and 15.
Can we do the ticker one more time? It's SV.
SBSW.
Oh, it's an ADR?
No.
Then I'm wrong here. SBSW.
S B as in
Yeah, boy.
boy. B as in boy. Yeah, SBSW.
Sibonite Stillwater.
That's the one. Yep.
It's an ADR, I'm telling you. At least that's what
Oh,
it
is it
says.
really?
That's what it says.
I've got. Well, it's okay. It's not Chinese though. It's South African, but it isn't. Yeah, so it is an ADR. ADRs aren't just Chinese, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not Chinese.
Yeah.
South African. Yeah.
Yeah, just it
that's
just
my
designates
mistake.
a foreign, like a foreign company, basically. That's how.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
These are beat down in general. 12 is volume profile on your larger time frame, so that totally makes sense as a target. I think this is a good catch here. This is a great bottom find on the TA side. Like this is where I'd buy if I like the chart and the company.
Yeah, and so and the pricing on the options on it's pretty nice. And let me just give you a couple examples of some good contracts here. So if you were to go into October, 1250C is $30. 15C is $10. And if you're going to leaps, you could play 15 January leaps for 35 or 1750 for 20. So again, there are playable options on it anywhere from $15 to $50. You go a couple months out, set them and forget them, and you'll probably do pretty well.
Yeah, I like that.
Or you just buy shares.
You
can do that too.
Just buy shares. Well, you got me looking at the cheapies.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, and maybe it's probably good for us to do this real quick because you can tell me where I'm wrong. I like the Septembers. There's still 12 cents for the, or let's just say 15. We'll go the high end. There's still 15 cents a contract for the 12.5s, which I think is a reasonable target. And if we're gonna have another downturn, in my opinion, like if this market is gonna test lows, it's gonna be in September on the interest rate. Somewhere around that, right? Like that's gonna be the catalyst that does it. So going that far out is where I'd kind of want to be, and if not, close it and kind of protect my capital around that event.
Yes, and gold stocks could be resistant to a market downturn. It kind of depends. I mean, it just they'll sometimes catch some attention as the market goes risk off. They've been kind of manipulated and held down a bit, I think, because a lot of people assumed, like gold had their great run before all the bad inflation news really hit, and then it all fell, which is just kind of the inverse of I think what people would expect. But we were into gold back when nobody cared about it, and then had that great run. But yeah, I do think it's gearing up to head back up again. And gold futures, when you're watching, it's like watching paint dry.
Yes.
But there are some key levels in gold futures to pay attention to, and we are kind of right at one of those, tinkering around with this 1800 number. So if we start to get to 1850, 1900, I mean that's when gold's just going to take off, and it'll just grind up every day. So so we'll be looking for that. So
be honest real quick. When I look at futures, I don't look at the chart. I just look at the number every morning.
Yeah, no.
I need to start looking at the chart. It sounds like if there's support and resistance in them too, I need to start looking at those.
Yeah, no, I think so. Natural gas is the chart I probably look at the most of those futures.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So next up for me, which will probably make some people laugh in here, is Wish.
Oh, I was on the fence on that one.
Did it pop up on any of your stuff?
Yeah, yeah. No, it was an option. As you can see on the chart here, it's middle of the zone for me right now, but it's no, there's some range there. I'm interested to what you have.
So yeah. All right. Now the caution here is that they have earnings this week,
Yeah.
and they are not very good at that historically. But what I really see here is a big push for 250C on 819, 2C for 812, um, bullish contracts for 150P across all expirations, and just pretty overwhelmingly bullish overall. And then one really huge spike in volume around 11:30 on Friday. So some big whale is buying up a lot of this 250C, and I'm not sure what they're thinking here, but yeah,
I I like the chart. I think that might have been another reason I didn't put it on my list is because I had like on my side I had three or four earnings already, and that risk in itself is enough, right? Like having three or four of them. But
yeah,
the chart is great for me. That 250 is the key level, just because that leads to the possible breakout where like 350, maybe even five can come. So yeah, I totally like this play. Right now, it's in the middle of my channel, which is 125 to $2 basically 210.
right, yeah, and I think Wish has enough meme appeal and all that retail buyers will start getting into it if it starts to take off.
Yeah, we haven't had the volume come in yet, so that's a good sign. Like you're ahead of it if it does at this point. Earnings Tuesday, I'm probably I mean on the share side it works better for me to just wait. Um, as long as I get it below
Yeah, no, definitely.
two
I
dollars in an
think
uptrend.
if you wanted to play earnings on this and risk 10 or 15 bucks, I think that'd be fine. But the shares is sort of the play to me, and there's definitely that after hours pre market will give you opportunities if it does want to take off from there.
How do you feel about these August 19th 2C 10 cents?
Yeah, that'd be the one I'd buy probably. Um, no, yeah, there's no sense playing weeklies on it. Um, Too heavy or anything, but yeah, no, I think as an earnings lotto, like that would be the one you would go for, because if it does catch a move off earnings, it's going to break $2. Those will be in the money, and yeah.
What are these worth at like 230? Like
Oh,
at the open, what would
yeah.
these,
Let
say
me.
say we're like we get these 10 cents the night before, it opens at 230 off because they have morning ER. And what would these go? Are these going to like 30 cents? Or are these going to like 80 cents?
Let's see. Get my calculator out here.
They have weeklies. Jesus. You can buy an extra week for 3 cents more too.
Yeah.
These have a lot decent amount of volume. What the hell? What's high implied volatility? 200%.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty high on these.
Okay, so these are high numbers. Yeah, I could see why these are on your wheel, are in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean the thing about IV, if as long as if your contract goes in the money,
You're fine.
you'll do okay with that. Yeah. Calculator's being a little slow. Hang on 1 second.
These are just so intriguing because they're so cheap. You can get October leaps for 25 cents. Back to the chart. Yeah, I don't think we get back below 170 on this thing though. I don't think that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think we get that much of a dip. Not before, maybe through, but oh, I lied. They report in the afternoon. Damn it! Damn it! I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
All right, yeah, I'm going to a different calculator. I got it here. All right, yeah, there it is. All right, so you're asking if it were to go. So if it goes to 230, you're looking at a gain of about 400%, give or take.
So they'd be like 50 cents, is what we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that works. If the thing that works for me, but I gotta not oversize it. But I guess I gotta oversize it. That's how that works for me.
Yeah, if it happens, like you'll see people on Twitter posting that they bought 100 of them or something, but they're either paper trading or because that'd just be crazy.
That's my next question. Like how, like in your preference, what's too many?
So I think
like how many contracts is like that's just too many?
I think over 10 is too many.
Oh, okay.
For most people. Yeah, because I think if you can go bigger with size, it just makes sense to just get some shares with it.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, like, all right, so if you have a position that's shares and some lottos, the lottos flame out, you just lose on them, and the stock dips to like 150 or something. It's likely to bounce off 150. Like I don't think Wish is just going to fall to $1 or something like that.
Sure,
so so you can kind of decide from there, is this my stop or do I just want to hold on to these? And that's just kind of know your plan going in, and you'll be fine. All right, so next up for me. So I kind of want to get your take on this, and definitely there's a lot of risk here, and it just made a big move on Friday, and I've seen, I think it's a monkeypox stock, SIGA. Now,
SIGA.
SIGA,
Yeah.
and obviously this has made some crazy moves all since mid-July, and now we're up here. It just went up 20%. But the reason that I'm kind of interested in it is let me give you the contracts I'm seeing.
The shorts are there. The shorts are there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What's my?
All right, so just bullish flow all day long. 819 30C, 819 35C. So I think there's a lot of potential that this just explodes and keeps going. So I would say scalps only on this, but I'm going to put it on the hot list just because
Wow.
when I see, no matter where it is in the chart, when I see the potential for that kind of move, where whales are going in this heavy on it, and there's really no bearish flow to speak of. I think they've kind of given up on shorting this for now, and there's some definite potential here to run to $30.
You're at all time high now. Like this move, it's never been more than $10 stock. Let me go way back here. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think it's ever been more than a $10 stock. Yep. So you're all time high. I mean you're all time high. If I'm given a level right now to trade off of, it's 1778, around $18. But this thing moves. I know, like Pele trades this. It moves. It has stupid range. I can't figure out just at a glance why I've stayed away from it.
Well, I would guess that, I mean, GovX, the shares are cheaper.
Yeah, but I mean,
That might be kind of one reason, but yeah.
But this thing when it started, it was, I guess, yeah, you're probably right. Because when it started, it was about $10. Yeah, you're probably right. It probably just is that. Yeah, I'm with you. If you see flow, if it's active on that side, it's active on the share side. Just be real smart about sizing. That would be my caveat.
Yeah, and I think that you could have the small position limits your risk, and you still can catch a lot of profit on it. Because I mean, it's not crazy to say that this could go to $40. I mean, it really could. So you're just kind of in one of those situations where it's just an uncharted territory, and whales can kind of run it up wherever they want to go. And just to give you a sense of the pricing on it, so the IV on these contracts is pretty high. It's not surprising. So I honestly I would go maybe a little further out of the money. And so like 819.35C is about $80. So if you're scalping like, a couple of those, it'd probably be what I would do on it. And ideally, if you could get those, like, what was the level you said, like $17?
17. You're 17 right at 18. 17.75.
Yeah. So if we were to dip back there before the next move up, like those will be like $40, and that'd be even better if we do get a dip there. But you can just do like an intraday scalp on this too with shares or those 819 options.
Yeah, I mean, it had a good day. Is this a Friday too? Hold on. No, it is. It had a really good day Friday. They did drop a little bit of news about seeking FDA approval on monkeypox on Friday. So I would honestly expect a little pullback. But again, it's been so flippin' active. High volume for well over a month. So I like it.
So my next one is I probably, like, if we were to update the hot list every day, this program I probably would add like on Wednesday or something, because I do think we're kind of in the middle of the zone, and I think it might dip a little, but I like it to break out of this in the next week or so, and that's Bili, Bili. This is a Chinese holding company. So they're a little bit scammy, maybe, but who cares? So they basically package software support for video content, stuff like that. But okay, so why this one in particular? I think you always want to have some Chinese ADRs that you keep an eye on. And Bili is the one that gets a lot of out of the money leap activity, and that's kind of when I trade it. So basically, I've been trading this one for a while, but wanted to highlight it for everybody, and I think it's in a pretty good spot. So okay, So right now it's sitting at $24, and the contract that got my attention is December 55C, which is a contract that trades at about $45. And so that's obviously way out of the money. But this is one of those examples of a way out of the money contract that's playable. The other thing that I like about this is that 25P is an extremely bullish contract coming in across all expirations, especially 819. So this is where I see like kind of looks like we're in the middle of the zone, but we might actually get 25 and then kind of not look back. 30 across all expirations is a nice contract too. So this is one of my favorite Chinese ADRs.
So this is a good one-line chart. 25.50. It pretty much is traded around that since the drop. You're getting a lot tighter. You can see the harmonics both on the weekly and the day chart, how it's kind of up and down and thin and out. So I like add sub 25. I'm very interested in the $30 level, because when that's where the volume thins out and you do have the move into the back to the 45, which is the level I see as like the ultimate move on this thing. Good environment, positive news, not shady Chinese practices, maybe a little government money, stuff like that. So yeah, I like it. It's pretty safe. It looks like it's gonna, for me, it looks like it's settling on 25. So that's why I really would be interested in seeing the 30 plus calls coming pretty hot.
Yeah, and just a quick example of so I mentioned that December 55C, which is about $40 right now. So if we were to go to $30, and it's like in like the first week of September or something like that, that contract will be trading at about $100. So a dollar in option prices. So you're looking at 100% move on a move to 30 if it happens within the next 6 weeks or so. So that's where like these out of the money options, if the whales are in it, then they're safe to enter, even if the out of the money number is kind of astronomical, because those will there's demand for the contract, so it has enough, I guess, liquidity is what you'd say. If you buy like way out of the money, kind of randomly, you might not even be able to sell the thing. So that's why like you just have to know if they're in it already, it's a contract that's of interest. So so if you wanted to play this, I mean, you could actually just day trade 55C way the hell out there in December, and you're still going to catch a good move on it. Even on a move to $27, you're looking at a 50% gain on those contracts. So they'll go to like $70 just based on that.
These are my favorite on share side, especially if they have decent support. This guy personally, 23 would be perfect. 24 would be all right, which is where we are, kind of 24.50. Just adding there and then playing it to that 27, 5, 28, 30 range. That for me, it's $600 or whatever, but it's pretty safe. And those moves happen usually in a couple days. So I prefer to trade that way in general. The only thing that really is dislikable to me is the China connection here. It's just not a good time for that. But other than that, I love it.
Did Nancy
Yeah.
come home yet?
Yeah, exactly. Did they shoot her plane? Did they shoot her plane down? What the fuck was that? God. Yeah, just some bullshit. But yeah, so other than that, I love where this is at. Again, it looks like it's gonna settle on 25. If 30s come in, we definitely want to sound the alarm on this. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and that's and by the way, this so like I mentioned, the 55C leaps are already there, and that's typical for Billy to just have these crazy
leaps like that. But the shorter term 30C, I'm going to look for that to pick up, and especially mid September contracts. That would be a good signal that like more than just your ordinary move is about to happen. So yeah, so I'll stay on it. Wanted to get it on the hot list. All right, next up, you may have seen me mention this one in the main chat a few times, for leaps, and just liking it more every day is Vale. VALE.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is a Brazilian company, iron, manganese, the steel company basically. And don't let the stock price fool you. This is one of the largest steel companies in the world, so it's actually a mega cap. And just it's not, as a company, it's just not going anywhere. It's in a pretty significant dip right now. It when steel was hot, we were playing X and all that. Like this one ran from $12 to 20. I think the next uptrend might be a little bit more modest, but I do like this to 16 and potentially 18 on like a 6-month time scale or so.
You want to know what my number is?
What's that?
Well, if you hit 16 and 18, what do you think mine's going to be?
Is it right in the middle of that?
17, 19.
Nice.
I do like this 13 level. I don't have it on volume profile. Volume profile is more like 11, 12, but this 13 is building a nice shelf over the last month. So I do like that being kind of the channel. Yes, that's 13, 17, 17, 19. That's what I got.
Yeah, and it's kind of all about the leaps here. Those really do stand out. If you wanted to play it on a shorter time frame or something like that, you can go like 8, 12, 13C is about $38 or something like that. That's a playable contract.
Shares.
Yeah, shares too. For me, it's shares or leaps. That's kind of where I'm at. So like, if you go to 2023, 20C is like $15. 17C, that's probably actually the best one to get, is like 35.
Have you looked at the
for
weekly?
January?
You looked at the weekly on this thing? Like even like 3 years back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this spot a lot. This is good down here.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, this isn't they're not some fly by night company. And this by the way is one of the biggest stocks to move, one of the ETFs that I like, which is EWZ. And go ahead and call that up real quick. EWZ. Yeah, so this is the Brazilian ETF, and you can see we had, if you look up my tweets about EWZ from early in the year, and had that huge move, and we've dipped back down. We're kind of back where we started, but yeah. So this ETF easily could go to $36, $38. I would probably expect that, honestly. So
your volume profile is 33 on both charts, the 1 and 3 year.
Yeah,
that's totally there, and then 37 stands out huge.
Yeah. So as far as like country ETFs go, this one's pretty smooth. It's been a lot better than the European one, that's for sure. But
no, I like.
So this. Yeah, so if you like ETFs, keep an eye on EWZ.
I like this a lot.
All right. So next up for me,
Valve might be my new favorite Brazilian stock. I like that PBR, but I think I like this one a little better now.
Yeah, and I think that the outlook for steel is a little bit better than oil right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oil could bounce, but I just think it's going to be sort of shaky for the next couple weeks or months. We never got to that 150 per barrel price.
Didn't happen.
So. All right, so my last one, my large cap. Do not full port YOLO this, but Upstart is
on my list.
going to be really active this week. So, yeah, so if you want a piece of Upstart, this will be a good week for it. All right, so let me kind of give you the flow going into earnings. These and these numbers, there are some whales that know, but sorting out who actually knows and who doesn't is always hard for earnings. But there's some pretty astronomical numbers on this. And in fact, like I had said over a week ago, I was like 30, they're just hammering 30C like crazy. And that seemed insane. But then, Upstart's kind of made a nice move towards that.
If you got 55, 55. So
I've got 120, 45. Oh, it's January, 45, 50, 55C.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 120. I was like, wait a minute, time out.
Oh, well,
January.
Yeah, you actually do have
January 20th.
Right. Yeah. So 120C doesn't have a lot of volume on
45 to 55.
Yeah.
There's a huge gap on the 1 year, and it starts at 55 to about 70. So that makes sense on that being the top of the target right now.
And this is one where the flow going into earnings is a little bit tough to read because you'll have like 26p for 812 is a very bearish contract, but 25p is a very bullish contract. So it's like maybe we get a pullback. I don't know, but there's a lot of potential here for people who want to get a bunch of lotto puts on this, just because it's Upstart and it's been going down forever, are potentially just going to get wiped out as an earnings play. So playing earnings on this, very risky, but you could see something happen like what happened with Carvana, where it just, or Beyond Meat, where like after the earnings actually happen, that next day, that's where you get a huge run up. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Not to play the earnings itself, but the aftermath, because in that aftermath, you can play shares or you get this IV crush on the options, and the options are really cheap in the morning, and then you can just trade those. So you don't have the risk of holding overnight, and you can still catch a good trade on it.
On my side, this thing is going to smash after 35. I was going to mention Carvana as well. Like that secondary, how Carvana went, we're like, whoa, Carvana's 32. And then it had that big secondary move. This thing's set up that way on the larger time frames. And 35 is kind of my number that it needs to get over. And once that confirms, it's gonna have a substantial move. And we've seen this thing move $6-8 in a day already. So
yeah, and it's just it was $85 in May. It's already collapsed.
Yeah.
And then it collapsed again. So there's just limits, I think, to what earnings can do to it, at this point. I mean, maybe goes back down to like $22 or something like that. But then you just start like, is Upstart, I mean, what is it? A $12 stock or something? I mean, so it could be, but I think that the upside is a little more likely heading into these earnings.
$10, $9.65. Best book value.
All right, so then this is one, like, obviously I talk about it all the time. It's always in my notes. I'm bringing it up because of the spot it's in on the chart, and that is Oxy.
Okay, good. I got
So
that as I wanted to add. We were going to talk about this, so I'm glad it's on the hot list.
yeah, and it's just Oxy. It's really hard for me to buy it over $60. Just based on kind of the environment that we're in, but regardless of what's happening with oil, ads around $57 are really strong on this. It just that's a line I've had forever, and you saw it Friday, and now it's above another one of my lines at 58.50, which I'm kind of um, looking to hold. And so, like when I make a line, I've talked about this before, but I have this equation I use, and basically like you can do that equation for any stock. It's based on the average true range of the stock, and you divide it by 4, and then you add it on the daily, and then you add it and move it around. I have a YouTube video on it, but anyway, the lines that I actually keep are the ones that are significant for the actual option strikes on it. So what I'm seeing in Oxy, let me call this up. Sorry, internet's a little slow here.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, so like I mentioned, 58.50, that 59p, 58p, very bullish contracts. And then you start getting into like 819.65c is bullish. 62.50 for this week is bullish, and that's a really nice price point at trading at around $47. So yeah, you could pick up like 4 of those and do a day trade.
You say
So basically
62.50?
Yeah, 62.50 is yeah, for 812. So oil, some uncertainty. We'll kind of see what futures do, but I like how Oxy reacts to these lines, and basically like oil. If oil's just going to just tank, I have some trust of some bounces as we head down, to these different levels. Because if you look at what it did on like August 4th. So this is a day that oil just kind of collapsed right out of the gate, and you'll see that it just all day hovered around that 58.50, and then had a really rough close, and then overnight fell to my 56.99 number thereabouts, and just took off, just bounced right from there. So basically, these lines just give me some conviction as I'm trading. If bullish flow comes in and we're sitting around one of these lines, I can go long. I don't short these a lot, but you could do that too. So yeah.
I just put lines on the chart and get real lucky. So it's working for me. So I'm just playing. I like when my line lines up with the professors a little bit. I'm 50 cents lower at 50, 56, 53. But this is a one line chart. You can see why on the weekly, because when it's offered, it comes off this cleanly. What I always play it back to is these lower time frame volume profile numbers, which would be this guy right here. This is your 20-day 1 hour, or this guy right here, which is my basically the same thing on a bigger chart, but sometimes you get a little different number. But it lines up too well with that. It's 62.46. That's my target right now, and his target is 62.50 because contracts don't have weird numbers like that except for that one. So I like this setup. Buying. I prefer to buy it 56, 57, 58 at the max, just to keep the range there for me. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and if you're if you're playing options, I think that the bounce. I want to see how it reacts to 58.50 in the free market, and we'll see. And like I said, I mean, oil futures kind of unpredictable what it's going to do, but
it's never really gotten trapped in that lower zone. It's never gotten trapped 56 to 59. Like that doesn't happen. It usually hits 56 something, right? Like, and it's high 56s, and then it bounces back right to 58, and then goes 58.62, whether it breaks out more or not. But that's where we've been for almost 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just really one of the strongest oil stocks. I think like Exxon is a good one too. But the thing about Exxon is that it kind of it maybe overextended itself a little bit more than Oxy, which has introduced a lot more uncertainty into where the price is bouncing around. I mean, because Exxon went to like 105 and then fell down to 80. And you're just you didn't see a collapse like that with Oxy as it came down. So
Buffett's got a buy order in. That's why he's got a huge buy order in somewhere.
Yeah. No, I do think Buffett could end up just owning Oxy for its all said.
I think that's the plan. Yeah, no, I really think that's the plan. But just the way he talks about it, the way he talks about the company, he talks about it as more than just his regular investment.
Yeah, it's like it's the Dairy Queen of oil companies when he starts talking about it. So that's my list. Got a few large caps in there, and kind of a manageable range of stocks.
11. And you went pretty thick this week. I like it though, especially since I was out of town, so we don't have to depend on too much of my stuff. Let's stick to the process. Just want to start with saying probably be a little picky this week in carryovers. But yeah, start with the AA.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to play AA, you're going to probably have an opportunity here on tomorrow is dividend day.
Yeah.
So dividend flush will be a golden opportunity. It doesn't always happen, but
I'm gonna put that in my note.
This could dip 4 or 5% just on people cashing out shares after the dividend. So that might be a good spot to add it. Overall, thesis here is still $55, $60. I think is pretty likely. If it wants to hit an uptrend, it could go to 80 or 90, like it did last time. But yeah, I like aluminum. I think we're in pretty good shape. And by the way, it's a different metal, but copper. I was watching copper. You'll see if I talked about it in the main chat. I was a little bit worried that copper was just going to collapse again, and it didn't yet. So as long as copper holds up around 350, metals I think still could really catch this uptrend and just keep going.
Sweet. AG.
Yeah,
I have 40. Sorry, I have 4650p. Yeah, that's where I'm looking to pull back. Even playing that 4650 back to 50 is good on the share side.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big watch tomorrow, that dividend flush.
Yeah,
we get it.
I like that setup. It's probably going to make my notes, to be honest with you. AG, same.
Yeah, I think silver. We were early, and still looks good to me. So.
You have a dividend here too coming in next week. Next week. Bouncing off the 8 level from the TA side. I like it.
Yeah, and when this was under 7 when I first was talking about it. So, even if you missed that, ads, around 8 should be okay. Just be careful. But yeah, overall, there's a lot of room to the upside here.
The next one, kind of gonna. It's more about the stock in general and our relationship with it. AMRS is where we are next. Um, just to make the hot list a little thinner, do we keep it on? Do we take it off of there? I mean, people know, if you don't know at this point, to trade this thing from the 170s.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's yeah.
I mean, unless you have like the big move coming, right? Like unless you have the
It,
two fifty
no,
three.
it's the same deal. It's just 2C and 2P.
Yeah.
When those are bullish, it's sitting at around 170. They run it up,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
back off of it, and we do it again. A big move is eventually coming on this. It's, just who knows when. And the longer we stay in this channel, the bigger the move's going to be. So this is going to end up being like a $4 or $6 stock, maybe like next year or something like that. But for now, you can just trade it in our channel and just keep going.
One of the cool things on Fidelity is it shows you your PL of the history of the stock. It kind of rubs it in your face a little bit. Um, and this one, I haven't done it yet this way, but I could play about 700-800 free shares in this thing at this point, and just play with the money I'm up in the shares because I have rinsed and repeated this thing so many times on this stupid channel that I, for me, either you got it or I don't need to keep pushing it because you're never going to get it, right? Like, if you haven't played this or it doesn't fit your style, I don't need to keep mentioning it. Unless
Yeah.
there's a really big move coming, like if you do see 250, if we are going to break above the 220, 230 range, that would be a good time, I think, to put it back. But if not, we're
If
just
this
beating a dead horse at this point in time with people.
right,
Like,
it's going to be fun with the timestamps when this one does break out and everyone's chasing it.
yeah,
That'll
yeah.
be great because like nobody's this early on it. I get, it's just too boring, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, and I want to keep reiterating to people, like, if you win on trades, literally have a watch list of your winners, um, and so we've accomplished that, right? If someone's traded that by now, if not, it's just not for you. Um, AUI gold.
Yeah. So I want to keep it. I like SBSW a little bit more. I mean, if you added AUY at like 450 or thereabouts, I think you're good to keep it. And uptrend from here is likely to 550. But SBSW, I think we're catching on its bottom a little better. But I do like AUY to continue.
I played this the first time, I guess, a little bit more, and it's one of the slower moving stocks, which is what I like about it. Um, Mentioned it last week. I'll probably be mentioning it next month and a half. The stuff we find is definitely going to be built for swing trading. Some of them already are. The metals and materials are probably the safest. Um, this one's been tested by me, and I like the way it moves. So,
Yeah, and the swing trade deal is why you hear me talking a little bit more about leaps. It's not like I didn't care about or pay attention to leaps. I just think that the market conditions are getting better for those, so that's why I'm into them more.
Yeah, you didn't want to buy leaps in January for even Pelosi lost on those.
Yeah.
Baba.
Yeah. So I'll be in on Baba and talking about it. I don't have a reason to hot list it right now.
Do you have 100 on your side?
No.
Damn it. Okay.
So.
Okay.
Let me take another look here. See what I got.
While you're taking a look, it's not a competition. It's not a competition. But my 87 was better than your 88. God damn it. I did not get any of it, unfortunately. I paid a little premium on it, less of a move, but man, did this thing complete the channel we had, that 87.5 to 88. up to 101. We absolutely nailed this trade last week. MVP in my opinion.
So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it off for now. It'll probably go once I do that. But yeah, if we get back to that 87 or 88, definitely want to keep an eye on it for a bounce.
I like that we got a number like that. It's so close though. We're over here arguing over
Yeah.
pennies. Build a bear.
All right, let me check the flow on this real quick.
We dojied on the weekly. What was our range here? We opened 1577, closed 1577 on the week, and then your high was 1660. 1539 was your low. We have 1476 to 1777, right in that range. So we are middle of a channel here.
So I do have I have some 17 916 1750 and 20C on it. There isn't a lot of bearish activity. You know, volume's not huge either way, but could definitely see a bounce here. If we were to get like a dip to like 15, that'd be great.
Yes.
I don't know that that'll happen though.
Your call on this one.
Not enough to keep it. I think we'll go and take it off. We'll trim it.
I'm mad picky this week, so just because I like so much stuff. Beam.
Let's see.
You get strong 20s on this yet? I would assume this is where we would get the strong 20s.
I've got 819 20C, 1750C, and leaps to 35.
We'll keep it just because of solar aspect. If you're good with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Those options are really good. That's what ran last time. After the fact, I look at things, and those options moved crazy. The last time it ran up into the 20s. Let me bring that up. Yeah, back in here. And we're kind of on that level again, so I like that. CCL, out of the channel. Not really to my price target, but we're out of the channel.
So I think NCLH has earnings this week,
Okay.
which this will run in sympathy to that, either direction. So let's see. There isn't any kind of overwhelming flow over $11.
Okay.
Coming in, so flow setup's kind of mediocre right now.
So we gave you this play last week. We got half the move. If you're in it, take the other half. If not, we're moving on.
Yeah.
CDE, your minor.
Let's see. It leaps to $10.
Jesus.
And that's kind of what stands out. The some 5C. I guess I don't know. I'll probably just go ahead and take the. It didn't have a great week this week. Did last week, and I kept it on here. Kind of uncertain. We already have some gold, so I'll just take it off for now.
CGC. I didn't read the earnings.
So it did kind of the typical weed thing where it had this nice run, gave some of it back. Let's see here. It's still the best weed play to me. Although Grow G is pretty good too.
Yeah, no, that's underrated. I agree.
Yeah, three $3. Run to $3 is likely, and really just needs to bust through that, and then it'll just be off.
Well, great. Yep, same thing on this side. Keeper for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it.
With you. CSTM. I forgot what this one was.
Oh, yes, another aluminum play. I'll go ahead and take it off.
Okay.
I think we got AA is the better aluminum setup for this week.
Carvana. This one makes me laugh still.
Yeah, I mean, where it goes from here is kind of the question. I'm inclined to just take the W, and then we know about Carvana. My pullback line is 37.27.
Okay.
We're a ways off from that.
Yeah.
I don't have levels up here, so I'm just gonna have to kind of study what it does. Go from there.
I would just really be looking. I mean, personally, looking for 40 to hold.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play stocks with $15 green bars. That's
Right.
real hard for me. $20 stock. Anyone that was in that, I know there's people that are real quiet in this room, and they stay here because they catch those moves. I'm telling you, I'm convinced. Like, there's just too many people that are like, this is too easy. I just got to read notes and.
Yeah, Carvana is one of those things where, like, if you played the earnings run up, you did great. If you were gutsy, or if you just gambled through earnings, you did great. If you just played it Friday, so yeah, there's just so many opportunities.
If you
with that
were
one.
vegan and played it from 21 to like 28 and stuck
Yeah.
around and just kept a little, you flipping 100%, 120%.
Right.
And that's on shares. I couldn't imagine if you had bought some $27 leaps when it was 21. Where are you now?
Yeah, like 2,000% or something. Yeah.
Kind of what I was just saying with I know there's some people that just don't say nothing, read the notes, take a bite of their sandwich, buy some shares, and go, it worked. And DraftKings, the next one, is a great example of that, because I legit asked you 17 or the number, and you said 17, and it happened that day.
Yeah.
Because the trend started out at earnings, and I just wanted to know what you seen, and it just ran over that price target. Another one we were real early on. Unless you have flow, I would think we would be done with it.
Yes. So right. Now I do think that, like, football season and the sectors and all of that have a pretty strong outlook, but like hot list for this week, no.
Yeah.
But we'll be back for it for sure.
I'll say something if this goes to like $15.50, $16. I'll be like, hey, what numbers are we seeing? I'm looking for pullback there and then to hold from there. I don't expect.
Yeah, and whales look for pullbacks too. Whales manufacture pullbacks so they can buy more. I mean, so I'm going to wait to see their move, and then I'll follow their move.
Perfect. EAT.
EAT is it looks pretty good. Let me see here.
Chili's.
Yep. Yeah, I like stocks like this. Just makes me feel extra American to support them. Yeah, EAT is looking good to 30 on my end. And so that's kind of where I see it wanting to test that again.
I had a little more than that. I was kind of greedy. I got 35, but even 33 is really where. Yeah,
well, I think it's kind of the big. If it actually breaks through 30, it's going to 35, and you can see that in like 916 contracts. So, yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, let's keep that guy. ELY Callaway.
So we had looks like, let me see here. Yeah, so it dipped a little bit on earnings and recovered most of it. And let me check the flow here.
What do we have on? Yeah, I like the 27 level. It's kind of
Yeah, so 25, 27.50
yeah.
on my end.
Soon.
September.
I'm gonna keep it one more week if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. FFIE. God, we're such a good team. Let me just tell you right now. You good here?
Yeah, I didn't see anyone else coming back for this as we
No.
were on. So
No.
everybody just assumed it was dead.
I had the if you look on the daily, I called that the bottom of it, and Pele was like, "That daily looks ugly," and I was like, "Well, that's when you want to buy." And
Yeah.
it does not like it didn't like two at all. Yeah, some plays are real easy when you're already confident in kind of a level, and then you have the flow supported. Um, this was one of them for me, and that's a 50% range. So, but I'm
So
done. I'm done with it right now.
flow on it's a little bit. I did see an interesting big volume spike on bullish flow for 3C, and that is for 812 3C. So yeah, could be another active week for it. I don't know if you want to hot list it or not. Um,
The thing is you buy. I mean, the only chart that looks good to me is the weekly, and it says to buy it two. The last 3 weeks, you buy it at $2. It runs to $2.50, $3. Um, so that
yeah, and there is definitely flow to push it back to 2. So
so that's
we're
it.
70 cents away from it.
Yeah, and with a $3 target, we are on the wrong side of the field. I mean,
Right.
we're not even
Yeah.
50-50 here. So if you don't have well above threes, I mean, we can just call it out. I can post in my channel and in main chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
FFIE's $2. Just like it's a AMRS's little brother to me at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, FSR. Moving,
So this is
moving well back.
another one that kind of had something going off earnings and
T-shirt.
then fell back. Um, I don't think I have a reason to keep it this week, although I still do like it. But yeah, flow's a little too bearish at 10,
This
950.
interesting. This is the other side of that argument on what to do with plays because I'm a firm believer that the catalyst that's going to come October, November of delivery dates on their car is going to push it a little bit. When it takes off or what level to buy on, I'm definitely more of an $8.50, $9 guy. Um, but it's a $20 stock in my opinion. So what are we talking about here? But
Yeah, no,
how to handle that? Where do we put that? When do we bring it in and out? Um,
well, I think it's in our like swing trade leap page
okay.
that we haven't made yet.
So hot list would be a highlight. For me, that's 859. For you, what would it be?
Yeah, 9,
Yeah.
as close to 9 as
Okay, so
possible.
we're
Yeah.
at 10. Let's just not it right now.
Yeah.
Gato.
Uh, yeah, nice silver play.
Beautiful.
Has maybe the most room of the silvers. Huge gap. I see a huge gap, like to 8 to 10. Um, and if silver gets going, that's definitely possible.
No one else will tell you this, but we like kind of mutually agreed and snuck this one on a couple weeks ago, and man, it's performed well. Um, but it's not like It wasn't like a high conviction play, but I'm glad we got it in there because it did have a great move. Um, I still have the 470 as a target, so it's a good 50 cents from here. I like it, but I do remember this one just barely sneaking on, and it's been a great performer. Go go.
Let's see. Yeah, go. So like, I'm in Chicago, and like I was walking, and I just saw their logo on this big building. I just couldn't help but wonder, like, how empty that must be
What
for
the
a
hell?
company like this with people working remote or all the layoffs and stuff. But anyway, the stock. I when you, I want to ask you real quick, like when you call up the daily and you see that candle, that big fat doji candle, what does that kind
The
of signify to you?
the earnings. That's what that it fell through
It
that.
just had a big range on earnings. Yeah.
Yeah, it fell down. Well, then it kind of stayed below. I have 1767, so that was like the key level, and it just kind of stayed below that on Friday. So I would look for that to reclaim early um, Monday. Like another red day here isn't a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like that basically like the next candle is going to be pretty definitive either way to me on that range from Friday. So I do have
This could pre-market down though another dollar.
yeah. I do like it to go back to 19 or 20,
Yeah.
and I have 91624C on it. So that's my bullish case on it is that it is oversold Friday after it failed
Do you
at
want do you want
1920.
to keep it?
So
You want to keep it?
yeah, I want to keep it.
Gold.
Let's see.
1540.
Yeah, this it's not going to go below 15
Yeah.
on my end, so we're in about as good a spot as you can get.
We'll
Just
keep
be
it.
patient with gold.
Yeah, we'll keep it. Hood.
I like Hood. Um, I like Hood to go to 16, $17. So for that reason,
Keep it.
um,
Let's
I'm gonna keep it.
you said 70%, 60, 70%.
Yeah,
Hertz. Holding that 22 real well here.
yeah. I still really see this going to 25, and then 25's decision time because it can go to 30, 35 from there. But even to play it up to 25 is a pretty good trade.
I liked it. Everything you just said matches TA too. Hut. Where is Bitcoin at? I didn't look all weekend.
Let's see. 23,164.
Yep.
So
Not bad. As long
yeah,
as it stays above 22, I'm good on trading them. They're all good though. This one I just think is the lagger. They do have earnings real soon. Thursday. I think.
yeah. I was sort of laser focused on coin, but yeah, Hut is a really nice play for shares or a shares options combo.
Them and yeah, I ain't gonna say that. Yeah, they're just a lagger for me right now, and I mean they haven't they Mara and Riot have moved over. Mara's moved over 100%. Riot's real close. This hasn't even came close to that move yet, so I like it best.
Yeah, yeah. I think like move to 3 in a Bitcoin positive environment is pretty much a certainty.
Yeah, I like it. Is it Intel? Yep, Intel.
I don't have a reason to keep Intel.
Okay. I'll keep
We got. I
taking
think
notes.
we did get the bounce we wanted off the oversold earnings, and then it came right back down here.
I
So
like 35 long term. I'll just keep that to my notes. But I love this
yeah,
level for long term. I absolutely love this level. I don't think you can do bad here. I mean, if you look at it historically, this ain't going to 20. Um,
yeah, yeah.
they'll turn the business around. They always do. Um, kind.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep all the real estate.
Okay.
I I like the spot they're in. So kind move to 4, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Hold on, I'm gonna back up just 1 second on that Intel. I kind of done a little research on them as well, and the way they're like they will spend money for like a year or two, and then save money for like a year or two, which really messes with their bottom line, right? Like because they're just not profitable for 2 years because they're spending so much money, and then they tighten it in and they become super profitable. Um, so that's really why I like them here, is because we're kind of in the tail end of one of them cycles as well as a horrible environment for people that need chips. All right, Monster.
Yeah, fell on earnings. Gonna take it off for now. We'll see what it does from here.
Mo.
Uh, Consolidating pretty nicely here. I kind of see this $48-$50 stock easy. Still way oversold.
It's grinded up every week we've had it on the list. At, I have 45 as the target. 40, 45, 47, 5, and 50 all stand out on volume profile. So real hard for me to gauge where it should go. But 45 seems like was the no brainer. So that was kind of the original thesis. So do we have more of a thesis now? Um, I guess that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, well, let me check the most recent flow on it. Let's see.
I mean, we banged this bottom. We absolutely nailed this bottom.
Yeah, I could definitely. I got 5250
All right.
leaps. The thing about this one, whales don't get overly ambitious with it, and you can kind of tell how it moves. But when the market's a little shaky, you do see as a pure consumer defensive stock, this is one of their favorites. So definitely
Options,
like it for that reason.
options and shares too. This is one of the ones that's like A plus on both sides too. So let's.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Whereas I think so, like Coca-Cola, I'll just use that as an example of that's like the ultimate consumer staple stock, right? Well, I think with Coke, you either play short-term options to hit a profit target, or you're just in it long term and you just wait out the slow grind over time. But Mo has a better return on like shares on a shorter time frame. There's a lot more potential there, and the options are playable too.
I like it a lot. Momo.
Let me see where I'm at on Momo. Um, Not really enough volume for me to have an opinion, but I do keep an eye on it, but I'll just take it off for now.
Perfect. Invex.
You kind of nailed this one. I wasn't in it, but
It was literally um, two cases of allergic reactions that the EU made them put on the label that it has allergic reactions, and that's where we got that last drop on approval, right? And it was like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
really good news. So like when it held that level, just um, I just didn't know how much of this candle we were getting back, how much of this to 75, which there's still some there if you have it on your side. But the bottom is real easy.
Yeah, 812.75C is bullish on it, and 65C. So
yeah.
yeah, so it's so okay. Here's one of the ways I read flow is like, so your top end target on a short time frame. I mean, yes, you do want to see that, but whales will sometimes just gamble like any Twitter degenerate. But what you want is like the strikes in between that to have volume and be bullish too. And so in this case they are. So
The entire chain.
yeah, I'm bullish on Novavax. Would like to add it at like 58 if we do get a dip to that, but I don't think we're going to go much below that.
I like it a lot. Pele kind of called that out in the room. Like, bottoms aren't super hard to call, but the actual top, it's a tough thing to call because there's usually a couple places it can land, but you can't predict volume. You just can't predict volume.
Well, and this sector in particular is extremely difficult because it's just so susceptible to news.
Yeah, it's probably the worst outside of just the straight bio plays. That the news.
Yeah.
Horrible. You said all real estate, so I assume Open, who finally came off the $5 level. Thank God.
Yes. Yeah, I like Open. I'm really curious what it's going to do on these tests of $6 because it's going to go to 7 or 8 if it can break through that.
Yeah. Same. The reason Open's on the chart is because the flow and the TA line up so well. Love it. ORGN.
Well, we really caught a hell of a move on this. This was nice. So let me see here.
It hit our upper. I don't call them price targets because that's not what they are. They're support and resistance lines, but it hit the price target we had, the $7 on Friday, and just pulled back perfectly. It's kind of what you look for, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm going to take it off just because I wouldn't buy it up here.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of see what happens this week. But yeah, take the win on that.
You don't have to like give me to the penny, but where would you buy this at? Back at 6 or?
Yes, $6.
I got you. Play.
Yes. I do want to keep play 44 to 48 is my zone I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to break into that.
One of the few charts I have more than 2 lines on currently. But 44 is the next one up here. 29.99. That's my favorite line. 38.50, which we're confirming right now, and then 44. If we were in the middle of the zone, I'd probably talk you out of this, but since we're on that with Flow Read, the next one, I love it. Man, probably our very first trade, to be honest with you. Rocket, RKT.
Yeah, so Rocket's just never going to have good earnings, I don't think. They need a new editor or something. I don't know. But yeah, so we could definitely see more of a pullback here. But I do actually like this to get to $12. Just don't quite know how far this pullback's going to go.
That 869 area, 875, whatever you want to call it, was pretty. There's a pretty strong shelf right there.
So
it hit both Thursday and Friday and bounced off of.
So I might set an alert at 9 and see what it does at 9, and then you can start to scale in at that 875 or so. That's good.
SDIG, you have a feeling on that?
Let's see.
Does this even have? It's got the stupid strikes, B.
Yeah.
We're on fun one. That's the only thing. I mean, that's got to be a hard read for you.
Yeah, it is. It was because we're on kind of
Um,
the lower end of the strikes that are
do
offered.
I have this in my notes? Let me go look. Yeah, this is in my notes. I'll keep it there. Um, just because of that. Oh, snuck on there. And if I take it off the hot list, it'll run. So I like that. That's a Bitcoin play. SeaWorld.
I was going to take the win here. We had, when we added this, it was like $45
Yeah,
thereabouts. It's 52 now. So we're through earnings. So there isn't, that was the run up to the catalyst. The catalyst was positive. Could definitely keep going, but just not going to be buying it up here.
we have 54.23 left. If there's any meat on the bone, that's not enough to really play. 100% agree. Good find, Professor. Great work right there. That's a huge ass candle on the weekly, so I love it. Cents, another one. You were 2 weeks ago on this too.
Yeah.
And then you added it on the right week.
Yeah, this I'm gonna take it off, but I mean it could that'll be on your scanners and stuff. I mean, because I just basically the move to 2 is what I saw, and we're above that, so.
It did. This
So
one
we'll see
had
from here.
this one had the weird drop from $3 on FDA approval. So that's the number I'd look for on your side. But if you don't see it, I'm down with taking the dub for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect. Stitch Fix.
Yes, thesis on this is 8 to 10, and that's kind of unchanged. So,
Yeah,
I want to keep that.
I'm with you. I like these, and I kind of talked about that sector, those online retailers that, and I need to do more research on those, but the online retailers that are kind of have a niche product. That Stitch Fix, though, I looked into that a little more. That's some rich people shit. They just send you clothes, and if you like them, you buy them. If not, you send them back. They just send you like a box of clothes every month. Who the hell just like buys a box of clothes every month?
That's like when they used to send you the CD, what, Columbia House or whatever.
Yeah.
All the teenagers that get in trouble with their parents for signing up for that.
That's the Stitch Fix. Like, I think that's their niche is they get these moms and they send their kids like coordinated outfits every month. And
Yeah.
like, so you get a box of clothes and like your kid, you just kind of rotate them in and out of clothes because kids are hard on clothes, right? They're hard as can be on clothes. And, them soccer moms want to keep them all looking nice. And I think they get ate up, but it's fine. I like the company because of that. Shop, $40. Another Target here.
Yeah. Can go much further if the market's positive. Let's see. So yeah, this is one we were right about to, you wait for the split and let it bottom out. Yeah, I've got 826.50C as a pretty strong contract. Could see a little bit of a pullback here, but the thing is, there isn't much under 40 on the put side. So, so that if 40 actually holds, this is probably definitely going to 50 pretty quickly.
I agree.
Leafs to 80, Leafs to 87. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's keep it one. If we're gonna keep continuation plays, this is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Wow. 6.
Kind of similar to SeaWorld, and just a positive move all week. They have earned the 11. let me see how I might keep them as
I got 30 on the shorter time frame as volume profile. Um, yeah, it's not really. That's just on the shorter one, but
yeah 30 C's 2750 as well. If you wanted to play, you know, a lot of position size,
do you want to keep? You want to
earnings are
keep it?
potentially, yeah, I want to keep it.
Okay.
The earnings are potentially very good for them, just from the signs I'm seeing. So
Well, Disney reports this week too, so you kind of get a feel. I mean, I
yeah,
guess that's a bigger can of worms, but from what I've heard so far, parks aren't doing bad.
right, yeah. Disney has this all the streaming and media side too, but yeah, but as a theme park play, I think it's
Yeah, I just kind of heard, or not like an early report, but just like an outlook that they're going to kill it in the parks department if anything else is lagging. Um, and I assume they're all like that. I just had friends go to LA and go to all three of them. So big kids, man, big kids. Skills.
wanted to pull back to like 130, 140 before I think about adding it again.
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. T Doc.
Yeah, this is it just has no business being under like 40, $45 to me. So for that reason alone, I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it. We're not likely to see the 29 again. So I think it'll kind of maybe it might consolidate here for a bit, but I like a move to 44, 45 on it.
My bottom's 33, 34, right in there. I don't think you get to 30 either, so that kind of confirms that. Um, for me, if it gets to 45, we're going to like 55. That's where the gap's at. That's where it gets fun on the larger time frames. Tattooed Chef.
Kind of nailed this one.
Another big weekly from the professor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's they got earnings coming up tomorrow. No clue at all how that's going to happen, but I just basically saw the move to here coming. Don't know what happens beyond this, so I'll go and take it off. But there's going to be potential to scalp. If you like to scalp shares, there could be some potential for that off earnings. So just keep an eye on it.
Share. He wouldn't tell you if he didn't believe in it. That's how I feel about what the professor says a lot of times. Victory lap, real quick. Hold on, let me get up, run around my house.
Yeah.
All right, I got a small house. I'm back. Tup.
Yeah, that was an explosive move. I don't know. I don't really know what happens from here. I'm looking at the flow, and I mean, if the flow's looking a little bit bearish, but really only to 11.
Wow.
So I don't think that they can get it back down to where it was.
Um,
Um,
we were
so
11 and 12 from 7. Like, this is what we said. We
yeah,
just didn't know when. I don't know. I don't want my own personal bias to get in the way of other people's plays. So whatever you feel here, I kind of got to go with, to be honest with you. Because let me just go over that real quick. I actually scaled into this fucking thing real nice. Like, it sat down here at 7 for average. 660, I think, was my best ad. But I ended up with like 1,800 shares. I put my drops at 950, 10, and then when it got up to the 11, I moved it up to 1050, and then I got wiped out. so my lowest exit was $10. But I'm fully out. It's a big win, big win. I mean, do the math on that. It was big win for me. So I'm kind of biased. Like, don't rob the same store twice, especially up here. Not don't rob the same store twice unless it's off the same level. I guess that's a better way to say it. So I would need flow from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off for now. I mean, I could definitely see this going like to $14 or $16, but I don't have enough flow to have any conviction about that right now. So, so we just need we need Starboy to pump it some more. And then we'll
Yeah,
see.
I was about to say I don't know what's pushing it. I expected it to level off at like 10, and it just went back up to the high of that 1130, which is kind of where it came out of the ER channel. So yeah, I can't figure out what's pushing it. Interesting. Sweet. Twillo. Isn't that Twillo? TWOU?
No, TWOU is
Take two. Take two.
take two, right? So yeah, this one didn't really do what I expected. Let me see here.
Fired.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. I'm not seeing
This
enough flow.
this next one, like I won't say I'm not giving you a choice, but I'm pretty much not giving you a choice on taking this one off.
We have to keep it. Is that what
No,
you're telling me? You
no,
love it that much?
I cannot. It messes with me so much. It literally messes with me that UXIN.
Yeah, we'll take it off. We'll take it off.
Thank you. God. And then
It's gonna go to $1 tomorrow now. All right.
I hope so. Fucking hate that thing. And then you want to keep all real estate, so Zillow, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I do. So Zillow should be over $40,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Do you work through way at ER?
So Zillow,
Thursday.
Zillow had the news with Open.
Yeah,
and it's like Open got the better end of the movement. Is that because like Open's kind of the smaller
fish.
company?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that works.
If you're little brother hanging out with big brother, the big brother's not the cool kid.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, but the long-term effects, big brother's going to take the money from the deal. So in that regard, they'll probably do better than Open on whatever partnership they have. It's just Open gets that immediate, hey, I'm a big fish now push.
Yeah, and I think Zillow is going to benefit from Open sort of like forward-looking relationship with data and all that. So
Open got trashed on that news that I don't think it was a lawsuit, but like that they were misleading.
Yeah, it was that federal report that had some pretty biting language in it about them being kind of scammy. So yeah.
So I think you got that whiplash, right? You got that bad news, then the good partnership, which probably was planned by them. You know, like they might have had that sitting in the wheelhouse just waiting. So I like them both there. All right, let's. I dropped all my stuff early. Did you review a little bit? Did you have time to do that, or?
Yeah. Let me see here.
I mean, we can still go over them one by one, but if anything stands out to you, I'd love to start there. We already pulled up start. We did make that one. T-Duck as well.
Yeah, so LILM stands out to me, and Ride can.
Let's start with the LILM. Yeah, I like this one to 350. It pulled back here perfectly to the lower time frame volume profiles, which is about 280, 290. Is this Lumen? No,
this is a small cap defense company.
Yeah.
vertical takeoff. Check the flow. Yeah, leaps to 5 stand out.
All right, let's keep it or add it. I guess it's an add because I only need 350 for successful on my side. Leaps 5. And then you said can.
Yeah.
That's a Bitcoin Chinese ADR, I believe.
Yep.
I love this 378 level. I just don't have anything above it really to go off of. It's choppy. It's like 5, 550, or 6.
916, 5C, 1021, 6C stand out to me.
Ooh, so we got them both. Okay, yeah. This guy, let's call this the S-Dig replacement. Calling this
Yeah.
thing there. I like it. And then what's the other one you said?
Ride.
Is there more left in that? God, you were early on that too. I doubt. I'm not even gonna play, and I shouldn't do it because I tell myself not to. I totally doubted you on this. But man, that was a dumb. It was a dumb decision. I was like, Ride's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
and it smashed.
Yeah, that run was crazy. All right, so basically, like I see some consolidation around 250 and move back to 3, potentially 350.
All right, I'm gonna add it because I can put it in my notes off this. My level's 20 cents lower, 230. It's your volume profile, larger time
Nice.
frames. But that's the line right now for me. 250 would be strength, in my opinion. That would be a sign that you are going to test that 350 again. Perfect. All right, and then I'm gonna let's just quickly one by one the rest, just so I can get a decent read on what you saw at BlackRock. You got anything going into ER? I believe it's ER.
Yeah.
This 9 is. It's almost like 880 to 920 is playable right now. It's so thin on the weekly. But we have range like the 16 if this thing gets any kind of positive catalyst off this level.
So like 8P and 850P are for this week are really bullish contracts. Got 1050C, 14C for October. So yeah, it does look pretty good going into earnings.
It's just so new. I don't know how that's going to react, but the range there is tempting. Like the risk of the range. I mean, we played it before and we were playing it to what, 22, and it went to 30.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. Where are you at on Chegg?
So I like Chegg. Let me see.
I know there's a timestamp of you saying under 20 is a steal too. I know there is.
Yes. So I've kind of always thought it was going to go to 30. So it needs to break 25 and it goes to 30. I mean, which sounds kind of dumb, but what I mean by that is that when like 25C is like 75% of the bullish contracts, and the other is 30C, and once it actually claims 25C, they'll start piling into 30, and they'll take it straight there. So yeah, nice move already. I think it could definitely keep going.
I really like this one too. Damn it. All right, we're putting it on there.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a really beaten down company that I think is going to survive, is how I would describe them.
I just really like that we both have the 30 and we both see the 25 level as the same way.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and just the way the market's been going, they have the good ones have been going home, so to speak, and I think this is a good one.
And this is a good example of one where it didn't break below those May lows.
Yeah,
And it, just kind of consolidated and then it's made its move up.
charge point, but chargers in general. Charge point will not give up 16. Third test here. That's kind of what I'm seeing. But I mean, it could go right back down to the 1250. Purgatory.
So like 1650 C for this week, 1718 C for next week are all bullish. So yeah, it does look pretty strong. Bullish flow all day on Friday.
Man, is it gonna break out of that channel? You said 18. No
Yep.
20, no 20s yet. Just the 16, 18s.
Yeah, no 20s yet.
Higher level. All right. We'll add it. If you're okay, we'll add it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip Chewy. Yeah, we have enough of that kind of growth shit on there. Where are you at with DNMR? I think it's earnings play this week. Yeah, I really like where we are here. 450-ish. With the huge range back to like 8.
So I've got 1118 750 C. Looks good.
And these guys are chemicals, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
So small cap chemicals is always kind of a favorite of mine. They're bioplastics is their whole deal.
Yeah, I like them at this level if it looks good on your side.
Yeah.
DNMR. I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of playing the, mixed or decent earnings on the bottom have been a good setup, and that just feels like it for me. That's a small cap. OEC. Come on. We're a little after.
Oh yeah, big drop.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me see here.
I have 1525 to 1750 is kind of the channel.
Yeah, I don't have enough. Like the flow is still pretty bearish, so I don't think the reaction to that drop has come in yet. Okay. So I'm gonna wait and see.
Perfect. Oh, I'm down with being picky. We have plenty right now. Matterport and TTR. Just got up to my 480 level. I don't have another level above it. Yet.
So I've got 819. 6C looks pretty good. And 5C for this week looks good.
Hot looks good, or what's this right here?
Earnings coming off the 10th. Yeah, I think so. I think as an earnings.
Okay, perfect. The 6th level stands out to me, and then 486 is the level we're just confirmed, so I like that. This is where the flow really helps me because it shows the next possible move. Not guaranteed, but possible. SD.
That almost made my list.
1650.
Yeah, I think with SD that adds between 16 and 17 can't really go wrong. I think you're good there. And let's see. Yeah, 9/16/20C, very strong contract.
All right, we're doing it. Those are all my numbers. Everything you said. 1650 is my line. 20 is my target. Like 17 would be where I wouldn't add more. I think your add 16 to 17. 1650 to 17 are great. If you can get sub 1650, you're doing really good. Not the most sexiest percentage, but a super safe play in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm only mentioning this one because I wrote down on my note front load. Tide. It ain't giving up $1. You don't got options on it though. Dang it. You don't have options on this.
No.
I'm just telling you that
Man, what a chart.
Yeah, I'm liking at the dollar ads here. You're gonna get 20 to 100% in my opinion.
This is the one with the BBIG connection, right?
Yeah, it was like the spinoff of another. They spun it off a company basically. Yeah.
They're a blockchain company.
Yeah, there's some bullshit.
Web3.
Shell Corporation.
Oh, trendy Twitter crap. Yeah. The company was founded in 1966. What were they doing in 1966?
They got the first Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Yeah, those vacuum tube computers took a while to
I guess that
mine that Bitcoin.
Shell company wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
What do you feel about Disney going into earnings this week? That's why I'm asking.
Right. Yeah, I feel like our entry was good.
I don't want to get rid of it, but that 100 level is kind of where it's at for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we could definitely pull back. Let's see. So in the flow, 110C weeklies are bearish. So that's not a really good sign going into the week. There are some gamblers on 120C. That's a bullish contract. So so kind of like to me the makeup of an earnings position for Disney, just based on what I'm seeing here, is a hedged bullish position. So meaning like they're gonna benefit more if it goes up, and they're not really like risking a lot on the downside at this time. 100 is kind of a floor.
Seems cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of murky. Yeah.
And NVAX. I think I got two more here, and we'll let you off the hook.
We added NVAX already.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I'll beat, and then I'm gonna ask. I lied. I do want to know about this one, just because of how things have been working. But Chewy, I have this 42 as my level. We made the 32 to 42 move, but 42 is this great. It's 1 year volume profile, and we get thin above that, whether it's to 50 or 55.
81950C looks good, and yeah, a lot of 45. 43P is kind of looking like the floor on my end.
A plus?
Probably an A for me, but if the TA's there, then yeah, I would do it.
43 really stands out to me as a safe play to play the next move on. 55, there's enough range. 50, even 50, there's enough range to play that, in my opinion.
I mean, it definitely worked to reclaim the uptrend when it had that dip in late July.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Well, it's a good sign.
We just had a higher low last week. It really hasn't responded to the market. It's kind of doing its own thing. That's why I like it. Let's do it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Call it there.
I mean, it's like if I were to say like where in when the market recovers or whatever, where would I expect Chewy to be? Between 60 and 80 probably is where I would expect. Um, so it's kind of a good long-term add too.
I got one I just want to ask about because it's coming up on my screeners and it's weird. It only has dollar options, but it is a dollar. It's CZoo. CZ.
Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah. So it did actually show up on my filters a bit, but I felt like it was after it had that big pop. So let me see if what we have here.
It's got that. Yeah, it's just got that look to me. Like we could realistically like $3, like that 250 $3.
Yeah. So they like leaps on this a lot. So they like 2C and 3C and 4C leaps. So that what that kind of means to me is that it's a way to get in on a huge move without having to time it perfectly. So
Okay.
yeah.
So would you say
Yeah.
this could sit at this zone for a couple weeks, or this thing's going to be active next week? Like if
No, I think it's going to be pretty active. I think it'll pop back up to 150 or something like that.
perfect. I'm not hot. I won't never hot list a play like this, but it's definitely going in my notes, and I just kind of wanted to use you for some clarity there. Because yeah, I got nothing. It's choppy. It's such a choppy chart, but it has a very good base at one. So that's I
Yeah.
think the miracle of what we do is like I can find a floor. You can confirm floors, and then always like have a direction. Um, and I don't know, it just to me that it works great because I just don't have anything I can pick off this chart. Like there's nothing here. So what you do from a TA side is you just go to the last high. So I would just be playing this to like the 160 level. That would be like my default without you. Um, and that's real hard when you get into the bigger stuff, like because you have the last three highs are kind of similar, um, and stuff like that. So sweet. We didn't do it last week. Let's sneak it in. Because I do want to keep doing that. Let's talk. Spend 2 or 3 minutes here on our good old friend Spy.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
All right, 4.
So yes, Spy has been really punishing the Bears lately. Just with, I mean, even like so on Friday, we had this big drop, and I had mentioned previously, like earlier in the week, that 408 or so was kind of a key spot for it. It hit like 409 and then bounced. So I think Tupac kind of mentioned this, that a run to 420 is definitely possible. And like the problem for my end is that I don't really see a lot pushing it above that. So like market might be pulling back, and you take that in consideration with CPI data coming out this week. Market sometimes has a negative reaction to that, so we could definitely see a pullback. I just would be really cautious about shorting this, except in a very short scalp, because buyers have been really aggressive on it for weeks. So I don't see a reason that won't continue for the short term, at least.
Yeah, I on a TA side, this level here where you're at 313 is a pretty huge spot. I can see where the 420 is, um, but I think this area is a little bigger than that 420 spot to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, what I'm saying is if you go long, 420s where I would get out.
yeah. Oh, 100%. If that's ever offered. I think we break down from here. Oops. Let me go back to FlexGrid. Um, like the daily looks great and the weekly looks like crap. The weekly looks like this area. Like the weekly looks like this needs to go to 430 to confirm this level, and it just doesn't seem like we're in the market conditions for that for me. But I mean, that's a pure chart TA look, right? That has nothing to do with market conditions or sentiment or the Fed's talking this week or whatever information is coming out this week. So, um, yeah, I really think I'm gonna say it. I'll just say I don't think we see 416 this week on SPY. I'm gonna say it. I'll say it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a reasonable conclusion. Like, so for example, some contracts that are really popular on it, 8/8, 4/11, 4/10, at the end of the day, Friday. So that's basically like it's a weekend swing into an expected dip on Monday. So, again, I would look for it like when it gets under 410 in that 408, 409, that's where I might look for it to bounce. If it breaks down from there, it could go pretty far down. So just sort of be cautious of that.
What's the number for you there? 405?
Oh, for like if it breaks down, let me see here.
I'm curious on where
See what
you
options say.
go. Because for me, it's either 405 or 395 on TA side.
Yeah, in the option strikes, it's 400. So basically, splits the difference.
What's the difference?
Yeah. So that that could definitely happen. I don't think we're going to go back to like 380 or anything like that, but yeah.
Perfect. And yeah, so you kind of set out to play that, like scale out for it. Do you just think it's going to be a choppy week for SPY? Like, it's not the play of the week, right? Like,
yeah, right. So I just I don't like the ceiling being so close to the current price. But that can change. But if I was to start to see, so if CPI is good, meaning like better than expected, then that just sort of rewrites everything, and we could just melt up, and Apple could go back to all-time highs, and everything could be great. That would be the catalyst that would be needed. But like the flow right now is slightly pessimistic on what's going to happen with the data.
I like that assessment.
So as a trader, swinging SPY is a horrible idea. Scalping SPY can be fine. Don't chase either direction.
That makes sense. And last kind of thing I got as a note, we're kind of both on the real estate theme. Like that's a mutual agreement right now. Is there another sector that you're kind of hot on? And I'll lead into that saying mine right now. Shit. What did I have? Oh yeah, mine is the space plays. Sorry, I fucking went brain fart there. The space plays are mine right now. They just all feel beat down. But if you had one, what would it be?
Defense.
Defense. Okay.
Like RTX back to 100. It's sitting at like 93 right now. So like I think if you could get RTX close to 90 and you were to buy, let me give you an example of a contract. Yeah. So if you were to buy like September 16th, 100C, it's like $70. That would probably be what I would swing on RTX. get it by as close to 90 as possible. But yeah, I think they're going to do well. And LILM, probably LMT. Lockheed's just, that's too expensive of a stock for me. But RTX and BA are kind of what I would look at for that.
I like it. And then kind of a follow up on that. How do you feel about space right now?
Yeah, I really like Ford a lot. I think $4 is going to hold, move to 450 to 5. I think could happen. And yeah, whales have been really into
Space?
Virgin Galactic. So like they played the run up and then it fell on earnings. They just can't have good earnings with what they do right now.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I kind of see them buying it back up. If you can get space as close to 6 as possible, I would definitely buy it. It could definitely dip more from here though. So maybe like 650 might scale in at that.
This thing hits my scanners low 7s like 3 times a week. But it's at like the same number when it hits my scanner. I'm like, how do we get back here every time, like at the same, move? But it's weird. I like the VORB a little better, but this at 650, I don't think you can. I think you're good there. I like the sector. It's just really beat down, so that's kind of why I mentioned it. I think we'll have time though. Like when stuff does come in, we'll have time.
So we mentioned you talked a little bit about like climate legislation and the companies that benefit and stuff like that. Do you kind of feel like the perception that they'll benefit is more significant than what actually ends up happening?
1000%. That's
Because
gonna
that's just
be.
kind of how I feel about it. Because any real benefit they get is going to be years from now.
It's gonna be
So
sell the news. That's gonna be like it's gonna be good for 2 or 3 days after the bill gets passed, and then when someone reads the nuts and the bolts of the bills, kind of like saying figures out, well, shit, they're only selling 200 or they're only buying 200 vehicles. It's all gonna come. It'll all come back down, or check back like everything will do. You'll get a big sell the news event. We kind of seen it on the Build Back Better bill that didn't pass. Um,
yeah,
but the bill didn't pass, so that's part of it too. But I think you get that same kind of event. There's just not enough. I mean, you really need hundreds of millions of dollars, and like when you only do hundreds of millions of dollars for the entire sector, that sector isn't going to hold the move it just had. Like everything in that sector, like all the EV vehicles, like or all the solar, like they're gonna go, oh, there's only 300 million in here for solar, like Enphase's 15 or 20% move isn't going to hold weight.
right. Yeah,
That would probably what is that in ENPH?
ENPH.
Yeah, that's probably the best example of one that I guarantee you when the bill comes out, if it gets passed, even if there's great solar news, this is pulling back. I bet my life on it. There's no way this is holding. It was a 50% move. But it's not going back to 200. Is it going to go to 275, 250, 225? That's what's not known, right? But for me,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
no way that this thing is going to 400.
So yeah, so like when I got in, when I was talking about Enphase a lot and getting in on that, basically like so it hit those May lows at like 136 or something like that. So like in the 160s, I was like, this is probably going to go back to 200,
200, yeah.
and then it just exploded from there. But yeah,
I mean, the weekly looks really good. You have higher low after higher low, but it's not a consistent thing. You have these huge, huge pullbacks to the $150 level. So being overextended at the 300, I just split the difference. What's half of 150 and 300, right? It puts you
Yeah.
right at the 225 mark. So I mean, that's really where I would. I mean, I wouldn't even think about this thing till then. At this point, you just take your dub and kind of move on. But I'm confident it's coming back to it. You'll see 225 on this again. 250, 225 in my opinion. So
Yeah, and same, it's like same deal on kind of a like a smaller scale with something like Run. So Run has had a great earnings run up and results and all that. Sitting at $33 would look. I'd be really interested again in it between 25 and 27.50. So I do think we will pull back to that, but I don't think we're going to go under 20.
yeah, there's very few things that the run up to the news, um, especially if it's known, like everybody knows the bill, right? The run up being good and then the implementation of the news being good. Normally you don't know the news and the stock kind of creeps up and then news comes out because the insiders know and then you get a spike. That's the only time you kind of get the double move. When the news is already known, you're like, in my opinion, like 70-30 most likely going to have a sell the news event if it's kind of already common knowledge. And you can look at that. The best example I can give is any SPAC that's well known, from Lucid when they switched to Polestar, which we just played. It had a great Polestar had a 30% run in a shitty market. Lucid ran like 300% just off the name change, but everybody knew the news, so 3 days later it was dropping back down. And I just think that's the environment with this bill.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And on the on the flip side of that, I think that when you have a stock just go crazy like Enphase did, I know that there were a lot of people trying to short this from about 275, and so like, yes, the RSI is really hot, and like it seems like it's due for a pullback and all that, but you can get wrecked if you don't buy some time on puts when you're doing that, because it can just keep going, and you get into kind of uncharted territory on it, and talk about fib extensions or whatever you use to judge what it's going to do up here. So if you want to play puts, you're better off to get some confirmation of like to where it makes kind of its first big move down, pulls back up a bit. That's where you add to me, and that's where judging by the flow or whatever. So if I start to see flow back to 225 to 250 on Enphase, that definitely could be a trade there.
A trade, yeah, perfect. Well, I just pulled up the stream. We went a little long today, but I think there was a ton of good information in there. So definitely probably call it here unless you have something.
Yeah, no, that's sounds good. So I'll work on the list and try to get some sector notes up, and we'll go from there.
Perfect.